Okay, we are live. Good evening. This is Attorney Vincent Davis, and this is The Secret: How to Fight CPS and Win. I'm joined by my two co-hosts, Miss G, Georgette Truen. Good evening, Miss G. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. And also our other co-host, Miss Cassandra Woodard. Miss Cassandra, how are you this evening?
I'm good.
Good, good. So, technical difficulties has struck again. Our guest was supposed to be on this evening, and she was apparently having internet problems. So, no guest for this evening. What would you guys like to do?
The same thing we do every time we don't have a guest.
All right. Well, that ends the show tonight. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning at 9:30.
And good night. No.
Hey, good night. And
Don't
watch.
forget, we have shows tomorrow on Saturday and Sunday at 9:30 a.m. Are you young ladies going to be on that show, or is that too early for you?
I don't know. I might be. I'm not going to lie. I might be.
And you, Miss G, is that too
I'll
early?
be on.
Or are you going to be busy with family things, family matters?
I hope I don't
You don't
know.
You don't know? Okay, it's good.
Yeah, but I'm going to be perfectly honest. Like, I seriously don't wake up that early, usually on a
Really?
weekend.
Why can't
On
we
a
do it at
weekend.
10 o'clock, Vincent?
On a weekend, I will not wake up that early. But on a weekday, I have been waking up at like 8 o'clock.
Why
No, we're not
can't you
gonna
do
go.
it at 10?
Why can't I go back to 9?
Okay, go back to 9, but I don't promise I'm going to be there every time.
No.
I understand. No problem.
No.
I wake up sometimes, and literally, I'm not going to lie, I'll wake up and do the show right after I woke up.
Charlotte, you had a question. What's your question? We'll answer it. No guests, no other questions tonight. Looks like it's going to be a very short show.
No. I have a lot of things to discuss.
Wait,
Charlotte,
how long is your show this evening?
I don't know.
Well, if it was longer than an hour, you had enough time to discuss it.
No. Discuss it with an attorney. Be quiet, young lady. Discuss it with an attorney. An attorney.
Yes, Cassandra, she doesn't know that her show is going to be limited to 90 minutes.
Oh, burn.
She's not going on for hours,
Well, she went for like 2 hours last
Oh,
show.
really? That's weird because other hosts do hour and a half and 2 hours.
90
Well,
minutes.
90 minutes is an hour and a half, Miss G.
90 minutes. Anyway, Charlotte Faye watching on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe. Okay, here's your question. Good. I was waiting for this. It says, let me put it up on the screen. You've said before, I wanted to know what form do I file to get my case files for my appeal? Well, if you're in California, there's no form you have to file. Well, you have to file a notice of appeal. But other than that, once you file the notice of appeal, they send you the records. Charlotte says, I got my appeal response and it's fast tracked. Okay, so it sounds like you're in California and you're appealing probably, if it's fast tracked, the termination of your parental rights. So they're supposed to send you the case files. They've probably sent it to your court-appointed attorney. I don't know if you know that you even have a court-appointed attorney, but you might want to call and find out. Call the court clerk. They're very helpful at the Court of Appeals, and they will tell you who your attorney is, your court-appointed attorney, or you can let them know that you hired your own attorney. And I was going to say, let them know you're representing yourself, but don't do that. You should not be representing yourself on such an important matter as the appeal of your termination of parental rights. It says, I do. Okay, can I get my own copies? I think that you can get your own copies. You have to ask the attorney who received your clerk and appellate transcripts and court reporter transcripts. But you wouldn't believe this, but it's very expensive to get copies. Sometimes the records are like, in volumes this thick, and there's a couple volumes, 2, 3 volumes. So I don't know if the court spends money to make copies of everything, but I know they do give you and your attorney one copy. I mean, your attorney, and you can probably ask him or her if you can get a copy of your court transcripts. Okay. Miss G? All right, so I guess that's going to be it for tonight. I want to thank everybody for watching.
What?
I asked you, I said, hey, Miss G,
Oh, I didn't
And
hear
you
you.
have texting over there, like just.
If this was real TV, do you think she'd be doing that?
No.
Me either.
If this was her show, she wouldn't be doing that,
Right. Be pissed off at anybody who was doing it.
1 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, she would have been doing this. Nobody would have watched, but she doesn't do that on her show, just on your show.
Okay, Kingdom Scribe 780, watching on YouTube, says, hi, I live in North Carolina. What are the statutes of limitations for suing CPS? And if not CPS, then the caseworkers. I can't actually answer that question because I'm a lawyer here in California, but you can find out that answer easily by talking to a social worker in talking to an attorney in North Carolina, a civil rights attorney. If you were here in California, it would be 2 years, for you to sue the CPS, caseworkers, and CPS. Okay? Charlotte says, thank you. Miss G, one last time. Is there something that you would like to speak?
All I see is Miss G's forehead.
Shall we remove her from the stream, Cassandra?
I don't know. She's not seeming very interested in your show.
Yeah. Yeah, she complains when she's not on it, and when she comes on it, she just,
All I see is forehead, like right now.
Yeah. I think I saw some.
She knows I hate my forehead, and she's just made it a point.
Miss Cassandra, I think you know what I see? I see some grays up in there.
I do.
Oh.
We do.
Mr. Davis has jokes now.
We both have jokes on me now.
I think I could go on the road with a whole comedic set about Miss G.
Oh, shit.
I'm sorry, what did he say? I didn't hear that. What did he say?
He could have a whole stand-up comedy about you.
Oh, yeah. He'll make millions.
Miss G, did you have something that you wanted to talk to me about this evening?
Don't put the camera.
Are you just gonna?
He always does this. You put the camera so close.
It's all on you. Spotlight's on you, Miss G.
Or are you just gonna text with people, who aren't even on the show? What question did you want to ask me, Miss G?
That you didn't have time for on your show. What is the question?
She was on for 2 hours, and she texts me before the show. Miss Cassandra, says, are you doing the show tonight? You're doing the show, right? It's only Friday night.
That is so mean.
I'm only doing the show because Grace, our producer, told me we had a guest, and here I come on. I come on the show, and there's no guest. She's having technical difficulties.
Now this is entertainment right here. This is grade A entertainment.
Miss G must have helped her with her internet.
Take the camera away from me.
Okay, so it's 7:13 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Friday night, March 10th, 2023. What do you want to talk to me about, Miss G?
Primetime television. Come on, Miss G.
I don't see my forehead. I hate you both so much. Okay,
Then go like this. Go like this. Oh wait, you have to go like this. Like all 5 fingers. No.
you, Cassandra. Vincent,
It's
take
been
it
a
away.
long. It's been a
Stop
long
it.
week, huh? Been a long week.
Stop it. Stop.
Lloyd
This is
Christmas said,
fun.
is it considered fraud if an social worker puts extra allegations in a detention report to solidify their case allegedly, and later is dismissed by CPS before the juris dispo trial? In my humble opinion, Mr. Lloyd Christmas, the answer is yes. I consider that fraud and probably a violation of your civil rights under 42 USC 1983. Go ahead and, talk to a lawyer, talk to a constitutional rights lawyer. Here's 42 USC 1983. How to examine hostile my ex witness. How to admit 911 audio and transcript. Okay, generally 42 USC, whenever you cross-examine anyone, you want to ask leading questions. So here's a leading question. Miss G, isn't it true that you are texting with other people outside the show and not paying attention? That's a perfect cross-examination question.
It is.
42
He's
USC.
professional. He knows.
Yes, I am.
Now, sometimes you want to ask a question. A lot of people theorize that when you cross-examine, you're actually testifying. So, for example, here's one. Miss G, isn't it true you killed your husband?
No.
Miss G, isn't it true that blah, 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 blah? And it's rapid fire succession. And sometimes the trier of fact, if it's the jury or sometimes the judge, they are listening more to the cross-examined questions than Miss G saying yes or no.
But I thought
Okay,
you're not supposed to say, is it true?
I don't know why you thought that.
Because I was told that. You can't say that's like leading the witness.
Okay, on cross-examine, you're allowed to lead. On direct examine, you're not allowed to lead. Do you know that? Let me tell you the difference between direct and cross.
Mhm.
Go ahead, Miss Cassandra.
I found that out today on TikTok. What the difference is between cross and leading.
Okay, so here we go. Miss G, if I call you as my witness, that's called direct examination. I
Mhm.
cannot lead you. Okay, I can only ask you open-ended questions. Now, here's something that everyone should pay attention to.
Mhm.
What I see a lot is that social worker attorneys call the social worker to the stand as their own witness, and then they try to lead them. Okay?
You do lead them.
Okay. But your attorney is supposed to object. Objection leading. Objection leading.
I hope you guys are listening to this.
Objection leading. And that will throw usually the county counsel or the prosecutor off track because they don't know how to do a really good direct examination.
Mhm.
Now, let's say I have my case and I'm presenting witnesses and I call you Miss G and I call you as a hostile witness. If I do, then I can cross-examine you. Isn't it true, Miss G, you killed your husband? Isn't it true, Miss G, you blah, blah, blah? Isn't it true, Miss G, you robbed the bank yesterday? Isn't it true? Isn't it true? And after a while, the trier of fact starts to listen to the questions more than they do the answers. Okay. So, effective cross examination can significantly influence the trier of fact, especially with jurors. Not so much, judges all the time because, they're seasoned veterans of the courtroom, but especially with jurors. But I do a lot of cross examination, and it is, there are theories about cross examination. There are books, there are courses, there are DVDs. There's one guy or two guys who did a video and wrote a book on cross examination. I forget their names. You can buy it on at LexisNexis.com. One of the guys' name is Dodd, Dodd, and he and his partner wrote the book on how to cross examine. And it's quite fascinating. The book is about this thick, right? And you wouldn't believe some of the theories and the intricacies of a good cross-examination. The other night when we were talking about, go ahead, Ms. Cassandra. Go ahead.
I wanted to ask, what's the difference between a witness and a hostile witness? I don't know the difference.
Okay, so let's say that I wanted to call you in my case to prove, and let's say you're friendly to my client.
Mm.
You're just a regular witness, or say you're not friendly, you're just neutral. Okay, you're the police officer that arrived on the scene. That can be, you probably be just a neutral, regular witness. But let's say that it's your lawsuit against my client. I can ask the court to call you as a hostile witness. Now, sometimes, because it's not really clear, and because I can cross-examine you as a hostile witness, which is easier to do than a direct witness, the judge may ask me to qualify you as a hostile witness. Okay? I can't just say, oh, Cassandra's going to be a hostile witness, right? Sometimes I have to prove it, but sometimes I don't have to prove it because the judge knows, okay, Cassandra's the one that filed the lawsuit against Mr. Davis' client. Of course, this is a hostile witness. Okay.
Okay.
Lloyd Christmas says, can the sheriff department be included in a civil rights case for filing criminal charges in order to get medical report to give to CPS? Sheriff was used as a collateral witness. The answer is yes. Now, that doesn't mean that you're going to win, Lloyd Christmas, but you asked me, could they? Yes. I could win the lottery tomorrow as well. Okay, Matthew Harris, law. Matthew! Are you Matthew from Texas? How are you? Everyone, if this is Matthew Harris from Texas, he is what I believe.
Oh my God, Matthew Harris. Yeah, that's the attorney.
He is what I believe to be an excellent CPS attorney.
Yep.
So if you guys are down in Texas and you need some assistance, call Matthew Harris. And Matthew, I've noticed you have a YouTube station or a channel now. So Matthew has his own videos. Take a look and give a shout out to Matthew. Matthew was a guest on our show. It seems like a couple of years ago. It's been a long time. So
About
Matthew,
a year ago. No, it was a year ago.
yeah. So yeah, Matthew, if you want to be on the show in the future, we try to do these 7 days a week live. Let me know. Shoot us an email. Good to see you watching, Matthew. Okay, Lloyd Christmas says, but those criminal charges from the sheriff were never filed. Went over a year without being filed by the DA. So Lloyd, I told you can sue them. That doesn't mean you're going to win. Okay, I'm not saying you're not going to win. I don't know enough about the case to give you that type of opinion, right? But you asked me could, and you can. All right. Now, Miss G, we're about 19 minutes into the show. Our guest was having technical difficulties. You wanted to ask me some questions. Let's go.
When you win a civil lawsuit against against CPS, and say your children are adopted, after you win the lawsuit, I know you said that doesn't mean that you're going to get your kids back. Can they take that winning money and fight for their kids to get them out of adoption? Do they have a better chance?
No, but they can bring the lawsuit. Doesn't mean they're going to win, but they can. But, the odds are stacked against them.
But
listen, in our country, especially in our state, you can sue anybody for anything. That doesn't mean you're going to win. And that doesn't mean you won't be sanctioned monetarily for bringing a frivolous lawsuit. But you can do it.
Right. So I know you can get sanctioned for that if you take on a lawsuit. That's bad, right? But I'm talking about when they win a lawsuit. That means they won the lawsuit because there's corruption. There was some kind of corruption. Something happened. Then how are you going to win a lawsuit if they did violate their rights?
Just because they violate. Just because they violated your
No.
rights doesn't mean you win.
Right. Exactly right. Somebody's been paying attention to my videos. Miss G.
Assassinate both of you seriously tonight, really?
Miss G.
Remember,
Miss G.
justice. That justice video. Just
Oh,
because you
Violate the child's rights.
watch the video again,
Matthew,
Miss G.
Matthew, I might move to Texas. I'm gonna go work with Matthew.
Thank
you're
God.
gonna move to Texas.
Yeah, I'm moving to Texas. No,
Miss
but
G,
seriously,
but seriously, you got to watch the video. What is justice? It's not what you think.
Justice. It's a
It's
very,
not-
very important video that Mr. Davis has posted told about several times.
It's
I
not
know
what you think.
I know.
And-
Listen to me. Listen to me.
But you know
Please,
what? But
I'm
no,
gonna
no.
listen to the
This, is-
question correctly.
this highlights an issue that we have all the time.
Yes.
You think of something and you take it to the logical conclusions in your mind, but you're wrong 85% of the time. I told you about that study at the University of Chicago. You know what, Miss Cassandra, University of Chicago did a study. This is several years ago, maybe a decade ago, more maybe. They found that 85% of the things human beings believe is wrong. 85%.
I would see that. Yeah, I could see that.
And that's one of the things that Miss G was just telling you. She gets something in their mind and she takes it to the logical conclusion in her mind. But the problem is that she started off with a wrong premise. You know, have you ever seen those big decision trees? If this, then that. If
Now
that,
I'm the topic of the damn show now. I mean, come on. Look here, Vincent. Maybe I said it wrong. Maybe I question it wrong. When you win a lawsuit against the Department of Child Services, okay? And you prove to the courts that the children were removed illegally. For example, there was no court order, there was no neglect and abuse, there was no such and such, etc., etc. And you have evidence to all that. You appealed it, you lost the appeal, then you took it on and beyond to prove that the client was innocent and the children should have been with the mother or the father, whatever the case may be. Now, with that winning money, can they, since you won that lawsuit, to prove that they were not neglected, they were not abused, they took them illegally, can they get the children out of adoption?
probably no.
That doesn't always mean that they'll win. Still.
You know, do you remember O.J. Simpson
Yeah,
when they accused him of killing Nicole?
he didn't kill Nicole, but go on.
Okay, so he won the criminal case. They walked across the street to the civil courtroom and he lost $42 million.
Okay,
Does that make sense to you?
no.
Right. But that's the law. That's how separate these cases are.
So basically, yeah, okay.
Next
Now,
question.
The justice video explains everything, basically.
Okay, so next question.
Hey, Miss Cassandra, on the next time you're on, could you get the link for the justice video and post it for Miss G so she can watch it again?
Yes, I can.
Thank you. Okay, next question, Miss G.
Next question.
She's so easy, Miss Cassandra.
Look at your text message.
My text
What
message?
text? My text message?
No, Vincent's text message.
Okay,
you
I was
still
like, I
texting
can't
during
look
the
at
show?
my.
Vincent's text message.
You know, you shouldn't be sending private messages to people. That's kind of sneaky.
She
She like
gave me
if I was a lawyer, I'd be like,
You're such an, oh my God. He's literally disclosing what I sent him. Oh my God. Okay. My next question is this. When a mother lost custody of her child and she gets pregnant, I was told by you that it's best for her to move to a different county, right? Or a different state. Because if she remains in the same county, they're going to come after that child too, correct?
Well, what I said was the best thing to do is different country.
Mm-hmm.
Next best thing is different state. Next best thing is different county. Now,
Okay. I just said that.
been on
I'm not sure why you.
I've been on cases where that didn't work. I'll tell you of a case that was in Ventura. My client, they took her kids away for some ongoing allegations. She was pregnant. She moved to LA County.
Yep.
All right. The social worker from LA, Ventura, came down to LA and got the kid. Took the kid back to Ventura, put the child in foster care. And of course, we were all up in arms, right? It was turned out to be a big so what. Now,
And also, I've seen children get moved from, or I've seen somebody have a kid in California get her kids taken away and then go to another state, have her kids and bring them back to California and be okay. So I've seen that too.
But that doesn't make any sense, though.
why are you
But
trying to make sense out of everything?
try to make sense out of CPS in general.
Yeah.
They don't make sense and they don't play by the rules. That's the whole reason why we're
The
here,
reason
right?
I say it doesn't make sense is because I've seen mothers lose 11 children.
Okay, hold
Not
on.
But we do.
Let me
That's
answer
why
this
we're here.
question from the esteemed Matthew Harris Law in Texas. If you guys have a CPS case, call this man. Okay, he says that Vince, does California have a frivolous claims act? In Texas, you can countersue CPS within the same removal termination case for a frivolous claim up to $1 million. Wow. No, we don't have that, Matthew.
Wow.
What we have to do is we have to start a whole new case in state or federal court to sue them. That is
Wow.
amazing. That is
Mhm.
amazing. Do you know what he's saying? That in Texas, if they bring a frivolous CPS case against you, in the same case, you can sue them for a frivolous claim up to $1 million. That's amazing. That
So
is
exactly.
that
So when the case is actually happening, you can sue them.
right in the same case in front of the same judge. But that would be a deterrent. That would be a deterrent for social workers to, screw you around. But the problem is, Matthew, I get a lot of calls from Texas, and they, they're having the same problem as California people.
Yeah, and I send them a lot of people to Texas. I mean, I hope I send them a lot of people, Matthew.
Yeah, a lot of people lately have been coming from Texas, and every time you've been on the show, I know that you've been referring them to
Matthew
Harris for sure. Like I've seen it a couple of times.
And when I speak to them too in the office, I tell them, contact Matthew. So I have his number and everything. Because I really liked him when I watched him on the show. I just loved that guy. He has a good fighting spirit.
Okay,
I would love to meet him.
Alexandra Napier, I have a question if you all have time. Let's see what your question is. Do we have time, Miss G?
I think so.
Okay. Is there a time frame on when a civil suit could be filed against people that were involved in a CPS case like years later? Well, Alexandria, you can sue them, but you have to do it within a certain time frame. And in California, it's generally 2 years. I don't know what state you are, if it's different. It's probably different from state to state, but a lot of states go with the 2-year statute now. All right. Here's one. This is actually a good question. Charlotte Fay says, explain ineffective use of counsel or a few basic examples in regards to appeals. Well, it's called ineffective assistance of counsel, and it happens generally where your counsel is not competent in representing you, that they didn't do the basic. I'll give you an example that comes from the criminal world. The defendant is being tried for murder. And during, maybe 50% of the trial, his attorney was asleep at counsel table. That would be called ineffective assistance of counsel.
I mean, does that really happen, or you're being sarcastic?
No,
But is it,
that is the case. That was a case.
but is it hard to prove that?
I wouldn't say that it's hard, but it's not easy. You know, it just depends because it's well, sleeping at the table is one thing, but depending on the strategy, some people would use this strategy, some people would use that strategy, some people will use another strategy. So it's hard to say, what has been ineffective. Um, Alexandria says Indiana, and it's been 3 years now. Thank you, though, Mr. Davis. Now, if you're in Indiana, Alexandria, what you have to do is you're going to have to talk to a lawyer there in Indiana to get the time frames squared away. Alexandria says, "Love your nails, Cassandra."
Thank you.
Oh, let's see your nails. Oh, is that
St.
for the?
Patrick, St. Patrick design.
Patrick's Day.
Oh, that's for St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, they're green shamrocks on them.
Okay. Are you Irish? Are you Irish descent?
I have either Irish or Scottish descent. I'm not sure. I try to do my lineage because my original name, my maiden name, is either Scottish or Irish.
What's your maiden name?
Lamb,
Okay.
Lamb. Yeah.
Okay, Miss G, if you're through texting, we'll take another question.
Yeah, we see your forehead again.
Leave me her.
Hey, Cassandra, I feel a new rule coming on, don't you?
Yeah, I do too. I said no foreheads allowed.
Okay.
Okay, so so when a child is in CPS custody and they're teenagers and they were sexually molested and they run away and then they go home and they show their mom bruises and photos of themselves with the other guy, the foster parent, taking pictures of them, whatever, whatever. Now, can that child sue the county when they're under 18, or they have to wait until they're 18, or can the mother sue, but even though the child is not in her custody?
Okay, that was 3 different questions, so let me try to answer both of them. The
Okay.
child can sue at 18. The
Okay.
child can sue after 18. So they can sue before 18 and after 18. And you said, can the mother sue?
Can the mother sue even though she doesn't have custody of the child? The child ran away from the foster home.
Um, Under that example, I would say no.
Wow. Hmm.
You
Why
I
know,
does
know that
but it's all a matter of timing. Today, the mother is not able to sue, but something may happen a month from now or 2 months from now with the child's return to the mother. Then she can sue on behalf of the child.
Okay, but so the child, if the child can sue before the age 18, who's going to sign for them consenting that? Or do they need like an adult?
They need what's called a guardian ad litem.
Oh.
Oh.
And it has to be someone 18 years of age or older. Now,
And
the term is
So, like,
the term. Hold on, this is an important point. The term of guardian ad litem in California is different in other states. Okay, they call it GAL. The meaning is different. But
so
in
what if the guardian ad litem was said to be uh sent, like told to be with the minor child, but never was, and so like she still doesn't have a guardian ad litem, but stuff is still happening where she wants to sue them, but she doesn't have a guardian ad litem, even though they said they were going to assign her one.
Well, it's interesting. In California, I think that falls on the minor's attorney. Let's assume there was no CPS case. I've seen cases where there's no CPS case, and the young lady goes to the attorney, and the attorney finds someone to be the guardian ad litem for the
okay,
child, and then they bring the lawsuit.
Yeah, but she is in CPS custody, but they told her she was going to get her guardian ad litem, and they never did. And her child's attorney is denying, like trying to keep away the facts from the judge. What would that be?
If it's in California, she might have to ask for a new attorney. You know, the good thing is though that the kid has until they're 20 to bring the lawsuit. So at 18, if the case ends, she's done with that attorney and that guardian ad litem, and she can go out on her own and get someone else. At 18, she won't need a guardian ad litem. She can just bring a lawsuit on her behalf. James Bayless says, "Can I get help in Las Vegas?" James, you can give Miss G a call and see if we can assist you in any way.
Actually, I closed the case last year in Las Vegas for Attorney Davis. But it wasn't a civil case. I think it was a CPS case. You know what I heard, guys, that in Las Vegas, in Nevada, children are not as removed as fast as LA and other counties and other states. They said it's less children removed in Nevada. They don't remove children that easy in Nevada. Did you ever hear that, Attorney Davis?
I have, I'm trying to get approved to what's called Pro Hac Vice in Nevada on a case right now. And there was a woman that worked for me during COVID who's actually licensed in Nevada. And I didn't talk to her personally, but someone in the office talked to her a couple of days ago. And she had always mentioned that. She was licensed in Nevada and California and I think Illinois. So during COVID, she was working with me. And as we came out of COVID, she started going back to doing her thing in Las Vegas, going to courts and such. She was a very good attorney.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Cassandra, did you have any questions for me tonight?
No, I don't have any more questions. I asked all the questions I had tonight.
Okay. Well, I don't think Miss G has any further questions.
I don't know. Are you telling me or are you asking me?
No, I'm guessing. I don't think you have any further questions unless somebody's texting them to you.
Nobody's
Yeah,
saying anything to me. Nobody. Okay, first. Okay, my second question is this, Attorney Davis.
That would be your third question.
It would be the third, and we're 37 minutes into the show. But go ahead.
My third question is this. If there is no domestic violence at all, the child was sick, went to the hospital, etc., then the social worker gets involved because they assume that there's neglect and abuse, right? Now, when there's a husband and wife, why does the social workers and the state always focus on removing the husband from the picture?
This is just my personal opinion because they assume that the husband, in the great percentage of the cases, is the perpetrator. Are there ever any cases where the woman is the perpetrator? Yes. But in the great number of cases, it's usually the man.
Mm-hmm.
What if the husband and the wife were on vacation in Hawaii and the grandmother was the one babysitting the child and the step grandfather, and when they came back from vacation, that's what they discovered. So how is that it could be the father or the mother when they were gone for a week? They were gone for a week. The child
I'm not sure what you're asking me.
Why do the social workers, when they were not involved for a whole week, why would the social worker assume that there is neglect when the child has a fever? How is that neglect?
Oh, I don't. Those two don't connect in my mind.
Okay, then why would they say automatically remove the father from the home? Why? There's no domestic violence. There's nothing going on.
I would have to review the file. Would have to review the file to give you an answer to that one.
I'm guessing, but I would think it's because of the allegations being told before that week before they were done with the grandparent.
Oh, good point. Very good point.
What?
Any other questions, Miss G?
No.
Well, before the allegations happened before they called the parent or somebody called on the parents before the week that they were with the grandparents, and after the week with the grandparents, they would go and take the kid from the parents because of what the allegations were before the week of the grandparents.
Exactly true. I would agree with that. That's a brilliant answer, actually.
I have no further questions. Are you happy?
No.
Next time, I'm going to refer my questions to Cassandra. After the show, I'm going to ask her. I'll be like, hey, Cassandra, I have a question for you. It's a legal question. Yeah. It's a legal question. Can you please answer that for me?
And I'll be like, I am not an attorney. I can't give you any illegal advice, but on my opinion, that's what I
Did
heard.
you say any illegal advice? I can't give you any illegal advice. But James made a good point. He said because it's easy to bully a woman too. That is correct. And they need the woman to be away from the man because that's how they get you. Because the man is the protector and the woman is the nurturer and the emotion part of the whole case.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you,
well,
James. I really appreciate your comment. Yeah, it's easy to bully a woman too.
here is Lloyd Christmas
Stop
saying.
it! Stop it! Oh my God!
Here's Lloyd saying, if I may rephrase, Attorney Davis, is it a violation of my civil rights if the sheriff colluded with CPS to get my medical report for CPS to use against me? Lloyd, the answer would be, in my opinion, yes. Sounds like Lloyd's got a hot civil rights case going someplace.
Yep.
Okay, James says they prey on the emotional person, make them sporadic. Okay, I'm not following that one, James. All right, Alexandria says, laugh out loud, y'all are too funny. Funny haha or funny hee hee?
I think funny, haha.
Funny hee, that's you.
Hey, Miss G, I noticed today on your show,
God.
sneaking
God.
watching it, you didn't have a background. Now, someone gave you a great background to use, and you didn't use it.
You know,
Hey,
the truth is, I forgot. I honest to God forgot.
And you forgot again tonight.
You didn't remind me.
And you forgot again tonight. Hey,
You never asked me to do a banner when I was on your show before.
I wanted to tell you guys something. I want to tell you now because I don't want you to say, well, why didn't you mention it? I got a call today asking me to resurrect my show on radio. And it would be a Sunday morning show on radio, probably after. It'll be before our live stream on Sundays. So I might be going back on the radio. Matthew says, in Texas, if CPS isn't let into the home or allowed to interview the child, the parent interferes with INV period, and the interference poses risk to the child's safety. CPS can get an order to aid something, any California equivalent? Not really, Matthew. Although there have been a couple of reported cases that seem to hold the parents' lack of cooperation against them just a little bit. But there's also the cases that talk about, if you don't have a warrant, you can't talk to me, you can't talk to my kids, and you can't come into my home, and you can never get a warrant to talk to me. I have certain rights, constitutional rights, if I want to have an attorney present. So, California's right now kind of going back and forth, balancing back and forth. I did a trial maybe a year ago where a judge in Southern California told me that I was right, but still was going to use the fact that the parent didn't cooperate, against them. So, James.
The first time I've ever talked to you was on your radio show.
Really?
Yeah. It was before any of this shows, anything. I talked to you on your radio show.
Do you think I should go back doing the radio show?
Yeah, it was really interesting. Like, I had a good conversation.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I got to tell my story, get some advice, and that's when I continued to call your office and talk to Miss G. So, yeah, okay. It was interesting.
All right.
So, am I doing the radio show with you, Mr. Davis?
No.
Oh.
How Miss G wants to do everything. Yeah.
Everything.
I'm just asking.
Did you work today? No, I was busy doing other things.
She wants
Hey,
to
Mr.
dabble in
Davis.
everything, dip her toes in everything.
Hey, Mr.
Right.
Davis, why not? Why not?
Because it was the Vince Davis show, not the Vince
Ah, you
show.
mean, oh, you did it by yourself?
Of course.
Okay.
Actually, that's not true. At one time, I did have a co-host on. Actually, I've had 3 or 4 co-hosts on the radio show. Now that I think about it, the first one was Barry Greenstein. May he rest in peace. Do you guys remember Barry Greenstein at all? He's a former CPS social worker who became an expert witness against CPS.
Was he killed?
No, he had. I think he had some illness, heart issues, or something. But he was actually the very first co-host on the show with me.
Mm.
Yeah, now that I think back on it, and I've had guests on the show a lot. When it was on KABC radio, they have a talk radio format, and the way their studio is set up is for when you're doing the talk radio, you can bring in guests. So, there were quite a few times I had a number of guests in the studio, and we'd have, a roundtable discussion about, different things in CPS, in the CPS world.
That's nice.
Yeah. So
Hmm.
maybe you can be a guest,
We shall talk about that.
or maybe not.
Or maybe not.
I would love to be a guest.
Oh, of course, Miss Cassandra. We would love to have you as a guest.
Who's we?
It's the royal we.
Who's the royal we?
Me.
Oh,
And I'm
you're
sure,
a we
I'm
now?
sure,
You're a we,
I'm
Miss?
sure Tim and the producer of the radio show,
Yeah,
because there's different producers and then the
Right.
host, and
Well, when you have a radio show and in one of these radio shows, you do have people to answer to. The producer, executive producer, got to deal with the engineer, got to deal with the general manager of the station. So
yeah,
there's
it's
a
not
lot-
like a radio station.
not like a live stream where we just let
Wow.
anybody on the show.
Hmm.
Here's James. They came to my house saying I was not taking my meds, not knowing what they were. They came to make sure I was smoking my weed. Funny shit ever. I was smoking. All right, James, you're losing me on that one.
Grammar.
All righty. So we've come to the end of the show.
Mhm.
I want to thank Miss G and Miss Cassandra for being on the show this evening. Our guest that was going to be on the show, please contact Grace at Vincent W. Davis. And we'll try to get you back on the show when you get your technical difficulties ironed out. And we'll see everyone on the show tomorrow morning at 9:30. Good night, everyone.